Hello and welcome to the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena on the Six Nations of the Grand River Reservation as Week 1 of the Arenalacrosseleague continues with the Oshawa Outlaws taking on the St. Catharines Shockwave. I'm Lance Wynn working alongside JVI Productions. Glad to have you with us. The Outlaws were a force winning the first ever All-Cup, but last season they finished 6th and were bounced in the quarters by these very Shockwave. They return with a veteran core with something to prove this time around. St. Catharines has bolstered their lineup after falling short to the River Wolves in last year's semi. They have acquired the experience and the talent to make a solid run at this year's All-Cup. Starting goalies for tonight's game. For the Outlaws, it will be Scott Coomer, and for the Shockwave, it'll be Chase Martin. Officials for today's game. John Vandergiesen is the crew chief. He's joined by John Watson and Kyle Coulter. Head coaches for today's game for Oshawa in his 3rd season at the helm, it's Steve McCarthy. He's the head coach and GM, and his assistant is former NLL speedster Steve Toll, making his all-coaching debut. And for St. Catharines, a familiar face as Ron Mouser Henry returns for his 3rd season as GM and head coach. Assistant coaches are Roger Chrysler and Clancy Ames, and of course Wade Thompson is the trainer. So all set to go here as we continue with the first week, the opening weekend for the Arenalacrosseleague, as we head into our 3rd season of action. And off the draw, it'll be the Outlaws with possession. Missing quite a few of their nucleus, and of course, Big Mike Triolo, the most notable absence there. And right off the bat, we're going to have our first power play within the first 20 seconds of this game, as the goalie is pulled for the Outlaws as they work it around the horn. Shot clock winding down to 5, quick stick, and it goes wide off the post, and St. Catharines will touch it. And again, we will have our first penalty. So Alex Tomas, the guilty party, he will spend 2 minutes in the box as the Oshawa power play will go to work. John St. John will be at the top, the quarterback. Mike Verdioli on the right shooter. St. John's working around the horn, looking at the shooter spot. Not the best shot, goes off a leg, and will remain on this side. It's a no reset, 5 seconds on the clock. Quick pass down low, picked off, and the Shockwave now will lug it over the timeline and kill some clock. Jordan Holtby will dump it off. Brian Neufeld, familiar face in the gold and black, of course, out there with Jeff Wittig in a man-short situation. Working it around the horn as there's under 10 on the shot clock. Wittig now draws the double team, and he'll flip it back and head back down to the bench, and they will get their defensive core out there. So a good job on the early power kill, under a minute to go in the power play, and St. John now will get the troops settled and work it around. Jeremy McWaters out there at the right shooter spot. They'll work the 2-man game on the right side. McWaters underhand blocked by Corey Becker, and digging hard in that corner was Steve Lee, and we could have ourselves another penalty here as a slash is called, and so it looks like it is Steve Lee that will spend 2 minutes, and now it's a 2-man advantage for this Oshawa power play. Working around the horn, quick shot right on the numbers. That, of course, was Verdioli, and St. Catharines now will bring it up over the timeline. Brandon Porga will draw a double team, flips it, loses it, and the Outlaws come back with it. They move it up 2-on-1. That's knocked down, good defense, but picked up by the trailer. That was Dylan Goddard. And good transition D as 1 penalty's over, minute 20 to go in the second. St. John, that shot off a glove, reset, and they'll get a fresh clock to work with. St. John, of course, with that core of Dylan Goddard. You throw in Mike Triolo and Josh Gilray. 2 guys absent here today, not in the lineup. St. John slides over to left shooter, gets the curl. Good shot, but wide. And that's good hustle there as the shot clock winds down. Good battle from Gage Board, but the Shockwave come away with it with 40 seconds to go in the penalty. Neufeld, one of the leading scorers on this team, doing a good job on the defensive side. He's working with Seamus Shanahan out there. Doing a good job. Shot clock now under 5. It gets dumped in the corner with 16 seconds to go here in the Oshawa power play. Have to hurry to get a shot off here. 11:10 to go in the opening quarter. We are still looking for our first goal here. These two teams, their first games of this season. That ball goes errant. The penalty is over. Out comes Steve Lee, and the Shockwave now will move it up. They've got numbers. 5-on-1. Bounce shot goes wide off the rafters, and it'll go back the other way. Outlaws move it up, trying to take advantage with the quick transition game, and they'll set things up on offense and work some clock. Graham Bergsma out there, the veteran. Pass it over, Jeff McNutty out there as well, and there's our first marker of the game. Back in the circle, Dylan Goddard gets credit for the first goal of the season for the Outlaws, and off the draw, they're back on the attack. Quick move, bounce shot goes up and off the rafters by Ryan Nolan, and the Shockwave now will move it back. Be interesting to see their full offensive set as they have yet to play a 5-on-5 possession. Had their first penalty 10 seconds in. Wittick with a sidearm. Good stop there by Comer, and now the Outlaws will go to work on offense. Bergman will drop it down to the corner. Working on the right side, back to the top. McNutty to St. John, back to Bergsma. Bergsma tries a quick stick down on the crease, couldn't handle the pass, was McNutty, and the Shockwave now will move it back up in transition. And a perfect shot from Corey Becker as he gets the Shockwave on the board, and we're all tied 1-1. So stand corrected, as it was Graham Bergsma that opened the scoring for Oshawa, not Dylan Goddard. As we will have our first officials timeout. So after the officials timeout, the Outlaws with their first penalty of this game, and the Shockwave have their first power play opportunity. Neufeld working from the top. He'll swing it around and sidearm wide of the mark by Lane Smith. And, of course, Lane Smith, a mainstay with the Six Nations Snipers before moving over to the Shockwave, and he is a bona fide scorer. And usually with pinpoint accuracy from the outside. So a potentially potent power play for this Shockwave, but at the moment they are on the defensive side of things as the Outlaws are going to try to kill some time. Minute 30 to go in the penalty. Doing a good job of fighting his way through that was McNutty. He has it taken from him, and the Shockwave now will bring it up the other way. Dylan LaPrade will flip and retreat to the bench. Neufeld, Lane Smith, Jeff Wittig working the left side. It'll be Anthony Patterson, one of the leading scorers from last season, in the right shooter spot as they work it around the horn. Smith, bullet off the post. It'll be a reset, and they'll get a fresh clock with just under a minute to go in the power play. Smith down to Wittig. Around the horn, Neufeld gapping the box. Big shot from Patterson, not able to corral that as it was tipped. And again, it'll be another fresh clock for the Shockwave with 40 seconds to go in the power play. Patterson working the two-man game on the right side. Flips it back. Neufeld shot. Stopped. Ball loose. And the Outlaws pounce on it, and they will bring it up. Zach Tompkinson doing a good job. 2-on-1 off the post. Rebound is loose, and it's scooped up by Martin, and he'll send it up to Neufeld. 5 seconds to go in the penalty. And Neufeld will work it in. Looking at a cutter. Patterson goes to the net. Great save. That one's flipped back to Patterson. Behind the net. Backhand pass goes awry. And here come the Outlaws. Back the other way. Good speed. Fake and wide of the mark was Mark DeBrone. And the Shockwave now will bring it back with 7 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Wittig on the half boards. He'll wait and set things up. Offense will go back to work. Wittig, more than a handful, covered, goes with the under move, drops to Smith. Smith picks the corner. Lane Smith on cue. He gives the Shockwave a 2-1 lead. 2-1 the score, and my apologies to Jeff McNulty for calling him McNutty. I hope he doesn't hold a grudge, as we'll make sure going forward that he is referred to correctly, and the Shockwave now will go back to work on offense. Done a lot of retooling in the offseason, picking up a couple of the big guns from this Oshawa lineup. As Patterson one-on-one, big save from Coomer. And the Outlaws will bring it back. Comes back to the top with St. John. And the Shockwave will jump on that loose ball as the shot clock winding down and move it up. Corey Becker. The flip to Neufeld. Neufeld had a notion, dropped it back down to Becker. Becker knocked down, some good defense. And in transition come the Outlaws. Ryan Nolan stops, hits the trailer, and a good job of weaving that through. Goes to the backhand. So McNulty gets the job done with a highlight goal, and we're all knotted at 2. 5:33 to go here in the first quarter. Off the draw, Bergsma looking for some help. Takes a check, draws a double team, and lifts that one up and into the Shockwave bench. St. Catharines will bring it back the other way. Alex Henry, dump it off to Neufeld, take it back on the crease. No 5-hole there as Coomer closed the door, or Comer. And it will be Gage Board. Offense comes back out. Around the horn it goes, looking for the cutter, but Vertoli, couldn't handle the pass, and the Shockwave now will come away with it and move it up. Johnny Jimerson waits for help, finds Lane Smith, puts on the brakes, dumps it back to Wittig. Wittig will work it around, and that good bounce shot, but again, 5-hole closed. And we are going to have ourselves another official's timeout. Back to action here with 4:20 to go in the opening quarter. Tied at 2 as Graham Bergsma will lug it over the timeline and dump it off. And the Oshawa offense will go to work. St. John, and that's going to be a moving screen, and the Shockwave will pounce on it and move away in transition. Corey Becker, one-on-one, goes around Bergsma, big save. Tompkinson will bring it back over the timeline and wait for some help. St. John's still out there. Good fake, and trying to tuck it in the short side was Jeremy McWaters. Couldn't find the mark, and Back comes James Deacon. He takes a hard hit. James Calhoun will flip and retreat, and the offense will come moving. A delayed penalty on the Outlaws. Net empty for the extra attacker. Shockwave will work it to the left side. Neufeld. Big shot from Patterson. And a good save, but back to work on the power play will go the Shockwave. Zach Tompkinson, the guilty party. And just to give you an idea of what this nucleus has done here for the Shockwave, it was Neufeld that led the way with 65 points last season, anchoring his power play. Patterson with 62, including 35 goals. Neufeld sidearm stopped. Outlaws pick it up. And a good job of fighting through and splitting that defense was Gage Board. And he remains possession, and he's going to draw a penalty, as it looks like Lane Smith is going to go for slashing. So the Oshawa power play now will get another chance. Not too much 5-on-5 here in the opening quarter, as both teams saddled with penalties, as Bergsma can't hold on to it. Off to the races is Saul Vanderzalm, and a good job of positioning from Comer, and the Outlaws will move it back up and go to work again on offense. Bergsma to St. John. St. John alternating from the top to the shooter. Good move, tried that tricky little flip, but no go by Chase Martin as he closed that door, and the Shockwave now will bring it back with Alex Henry. To Wittig, back to Henry. Across, looking for the quick stick finish, but the pass went awry, and the Outlaws now will see too many men on the floor, the call. So back to work on the power play, a 4-on-3 opportunity for the Shockwave with 1:50 to go here in the opening quarter, and still waiting to get someone in that penalty box for. So that's all sorted out now with 1:50 to go here. 4-on-3 opportunity for the Shockwave. They work it around. Wittig can't handle pass, and back come the Outlaws. Gage Board. Good speed, good hands, and a reliable member of this Outlaws team since the opening season of the Arena Lacrosse League, and he will draw the double team and kill some time. Under 10 on the shot clock. Board looking for an opening. Wittig in on the double team, and they use a stick check, and a good job as 26 seconds to go in the Shockwave penalty. And 1:17 to go in the Oshawa penalty. 4-on-4 here. Wittig, Neufeld, as we're under a minute now in the opening quarter. Neufeld gets a screen from Wittig, sidearm stop. Hustling in is Brandon Porga, but it's the Outlaws that come away with it. Quick pass up ahead to Tompkinson. Tompkinson with numbers. St. John jumps in the rush. They hit the trailer. Big shot, nice save. Kicked aside, but retrieved by the Shockwave. They'll move it back up in transition. 30 seconds to go in the quarter. 2-on-1. Lane Smith, wrong stick side, bad pass. Outlaws with 20 to go here. They'll get it over the timeline, and with no numbers, they will look for a shot. They'll bring the clock all the way down and hold for the last shot of this quarter. 2-2 the score. Under 10. 5. And taking it was Dylan Goddard, but a very entertaining opening quarter after the first 15 minutes. We are tied 2-2. All set to go here for the second quarter. Tied at 2. James Calhoun and Graham Bergsma doing battle in the circle, and off the draw it'll be the Shockwave going the other way now that gained possession. Steve Lee will work the half boards as both teams even now. 5-on-5. Wittig will load and just miss wide, as referee Kyle Coulter had to duck out of the way of that. And the Outlaws now with a double team will get it over the line. Aaron Walker splits it and kicks it. He'll look for an opportunity to slide off, and he will do just that. John St. John working around the half boards, kick back to the top. Jeremy McWaters looking for a screen, playing a two-man game with Vertoli. And we knew that it had been 5-on-5 for just too long, as we'll have ourselves another Visionware power play. And so another opportunity here for the Outlaws with the man advantage as the power play goes to work with John St. John at the helm. And they'll work it around, give everyone a touch. St. John will slide over and gap the box. Good swing pass, good overhand, but stopped, and that one is shot down the other end. And racing to jump on that ball was Alex Henry, and he will get possession and work some clock. Finds Neufeld. Neufeld will kick it back down and over to Mitch DeMont. DeMont to Wittig. Wittig to Neufeld, and a good attempt there with the shot clock winding down, but Comer was steady, as both goaltenders have been good here in the early going. And with 13 minutes to go here in the second, we're still tied at 2, and the Outlaws working on a power play under a minute to go in the man advantage. Around the horn again. St. John. Backhand pass left side. Underhand stopped. Quick outlet pass is blocked or knocked down. Shockwave pick it up, and they'll work it in. Dylan LaPrade takes a bounce shot, and it's stopped. Outlaws will bring it back the other way. So some solid goaltending here with 25 seconds to go in the Oshawa power play. Working it around the horn again, I like that, but at the same time, the only shots are coming from way out. And the Shockwave now will flip it up. That's picked off and moved back the other way. St. John now has a trailer, and Bergsma's shot stopped. And it will be Martin that'll move it up the other way. Another shot blocked. So doing a good job is Dylan Goddard reading the offense. But no chance there to get that, and trying to go from left to right was Colhoun, and not able to do it. But the Shockwave have possession. Wittig rolling on the crease, diving. Good stop, crease the call, and the Outlaws now will bring it back. Nick Andrioli. Speedster hasn't got on track yet, but of course early in the season, the first game, being harassed by Anthony Patterson. Round the horn, flipped, another pass blocked. And knocked down, and moving up on a breakaway. And a beautiful fake, but a better save. So Johnny Jimerson in all alone, not able to beat Comer, and we're still tied at 2. That one will go off a defender and back over the timeline. So Goddard will trot, get it, and no reset on the clock, so 10 seconds to get a shot off. Goddard being hounded. Bergsma setting a screen. That one's knocked down, and it'll be Shockwave possession on the shot clock, and they'll move it back up. Alex Henry dumps it off. Big save. And it'll be outlet back the other way. Gage Board will wait for some numbers here as he dumps it down to McNulty. McNulty has a goal, one of the two here for the Outlaws, and picking that up, but not able to find the mark was Vertoli. And that's over and back the call. And that's going to be a delay of game. So after the dust has settled, no penalties here, as there was a reset, and the draw will be in the center circle, and the Shockwave hustling for it, and they're going to call interference, and St. Catharines will bring it the other way. 9:55 to go here in the second. Still tied at 2, as these two teams on the carpet for the first time this season in their opening games of the third Arena Lacrosse League season. Lane Smith will find Neufeld. Neufeld, quick pass across. Josh Harris. That one's knocked down, and off to the races is Ryan Nolan. In all alone, picks the corner. Ryan Nolan breaks the 2-2 tie, and the Outlaws lead this one now 3-2. Back at it off the draw, the Outlaws fish it off the carpet and get possession in the offensive end. Mark DeBrone doing some yeoman work on the boards there, but some good defense by the Shockwave as they force the turnover, and they will get possession. Moving it up, out the back door, Wittig had an opening, stopped, hesitated, went wide. Ball's going to come back the other way, and it's picked up by Tompkinson. He'll head to the middle of the floor, retain his balance, and send it off to Andrioli. He'll dump it down. They'll work the left side. Bergsma at the top. He'll dump it off, retreat, set a screen for McWaters. Good defense there by the Shockwave as they will bring it back in transition, but pull it back out. Johnny Jimerson making a good decision there. He will wait for the offense as he finds his way to the bench. Patterson, one-on-one. He's a handful. Had a man wide open on the crease, but he got stripped. That one goes ahead to Tompkinson. Quick shot wide of the mark. And it's going to be for the officials' timeout. A penalty was called. We'll get you the details when they become available to us, but the Outlaws will go back to work on the power play with just over 8 minutes to go here in the second. 3-2 Oshawa leading. Around the horn it goes. Kicked out St. John, wrong stick side, and a good save. Just working that shoulder was Chase Martin, and he's been tested with 1:35 to go here in the power play. St. John needs to get in just a little tighter, working out there with Dylan Goddard and McNulty as that bounce shot goes wide of the mark, and it's going to come all the way the length of the rink. A race for it, and interference called. So good hustle from Alex Henry, and the Shockwave now will get possession, and it's Lane Smith on the half boards. Probably going to take more than just one to knock Smith off the ball as it comes back to the top here for Porga. Porga will swing it around to the right side. Josh Harris, 10 seconds on the shot clock, finds Lane Smith. Smith will lean in, get a good shot off, right on the numbers, and the Outlaws now will bring it back the other way. Gage Board flips to Goddard, and Goddard will wait and set things up. Very deliberate on the power play are these Outlaws, with John St. John working on the top. Everyone touches it, and then they start gapping that box. St. John looking for a cutter. Good save. So a good offensive cut, a better save, and the Shockwave now will bring it up 2-on-2. Dylan LaPrade will pull it out as the penalty is over. And we are now even 5 apiece. 6 minutes to go here, second quarter. Wittig looking for an opening, tricky shot. Jeff Wittig through a screen, through two defenders, finds the low corner, and we're all tied 3-3. James Calhoun and Paul Jelly in the circle, and a clean win as the Outlaws now will bring it back and set up the offense. Bergsma. Fine board. Board one-on-one, sidearm goes, looked like off the post, so caught some iron before it went over the glass. And the Outlaws will retain possession. Bergsma taking a more active role here. Injured a bit last season, wasn't able to finish the campaign. Ended up on the coaching staff, providing some valuable learning experience for some of the younger players, and back on the carpet here. LaPrade calls his own number. Good stop there by Comer, and it will come back the other way. One-on-one, Andrioli spins, can't find an opening, pulls it back out. St. John. 5 minutes to go here, second quarter. 3-3 the score. One-on-one on the right side, underhand, goes off the iron. And they'll play through the reset. Big shot from the top was Goddard, but that one steered wide, and the Shockwave now will pounce on that and bring it back. Good effort finding the trail. Lane Smith pops that in the corner over the shoulder. So Lane Smith out of the back door. He finishes, and it's 4-3 for the Shockwave. So Lane Smith with his second of the game. And off the draw, the Shockwave will scoop that up, and it's Harris. He'll bring it over the timeline, and he'll work with Wittig. Wittig, an opening, quick shot, stopped, and corralled, and the outlet. Board. Good speed, but no numbers. He'll pull it back out, wait for a trailer, doesn't get one. And plenty of stick work from the Shockwave as we now head to the 4-minute mark here of the second quarter. Looking behind that net, St. John. Floating, dips the shoulder, curls in, bounce shot, stop. So St. John, a good job of what looks like we'll draw a penalty here, and we. So Jordan Holtby, the guilty party, he'll spend 2 minutes in the box for slashing, and the Oshawa power play back to work again. They've been on this carpet quite a bit here in this opening half. 4-3 the score. St. John with a good shot, but again from distance. Stopped by Martin. Outlet pass all the way down, and from one netminder to the other. And St. John now will bring it back. 3:20 to go here in the second. Minute and a half to go in the Oshawa power play as they will work it around the horn, give everyone a touch. St. John inching in, shot again, stopped. And the Shockwave will move it up. Playing the carom was LaPrade. And he'll work some time, and penalty now under a minute to go with Wittig. Wittig. Dump it to Neufeld. Neufeld will curl around and look for Patterson. Almost had the short side, but that closed quickly, and Andrioli will bring it back up for the Outlaws. 40 seconds to go here in the man advantage. 2:30 to go in the second quarter. 4-3 the score here in favor of the Shockwave. As once again, they'll work it around the horn. Will the Outlaws. Skip pass and another skip pass. Big shot, but again, all perimeter action as that one is dumped out and intercepted. Ball loose. Good job by Chase Martin to try and get on that, as the Outlaws now will work it around. The penalty just about over, and it is. And we're back to 5-on-5. St. John dumps it down, looking for the cutter. No go there on the pass, but 2-on-1 here. Come the Shockwave. Good defense as John St. John, with great hands, knocks that down and brings it back the other way, sets the offensive transition, and gives St. John credit. His pass left the door open for Zach Tompkinson, and he ties this game 4-4. So a prime example of good defense leading to very good offense. And that's the case there as the Outlaws pull even. Back come the Shockwave here with 1:10 to go in the half. Neufeld to Wittig. Wittig with an opening. Loads, fakes, dumps it down low to Lane Smith, but not on the same page as that pass handcuffs Smith. And not sure if we're going to get another penalty call. Set to go here again with 1 minute to go. And Mark DeBrone with an illegal cross-check call, so the Shockwave now will go to work with a chance here to take the lead before the half. Patterson curls, Lane Smith with an opening, and that had to hurt as it went off the foot of Tyler Roach. And I don't think that's going to hurt tomorrow, because it probably hurts today. And it looks like another penalty is going to be called here, as looks like Andrioli is going. So a golden opportunity here for the Shockwave to take the lead with 45 seconds to go and a 2-man advantage. Patterson, Lane Smith. They will use Steve Lee as the security blanket down on the neutral line, and Patterson working around with under 20 to go on the shot clock. Plenty of time. They dump it down low. Wittig can't handle that cross-court pass, and Tompkinson will bring it back into the crease. So it will be Shockwave ball with 21 seconds to go. Patterson with an opening, dumps it back down low, and big hit. Wittig tried to dunk it from behind, wasn't successful, and the Outlaws will try to work down the final 10 seconds of the quarter. Board, good speed, takes a hit, takes 2 hits, and rolls it down, and that will do it for the half. 4-4 the score after the opening 30 minutes here at the ILA. So locked and loaded here for the third quarter, and in the meantime, between time, with 2 men in the box for the Outlaws, their head coach, Steve McCarthy, has been ejected from this game. So they are down now to a 5-on-3 situation, a 4-4 game here. We're just beginning the third quarter. Lance Wynn alongside JVI Productions. Always glad you've come for the ride. Wittig dumps it down low, quick stick, big save, and the Outlaws will bring it up the other way. Have to get it over that timeline, and they do. Gage board, 1-on-1. 23 seconds and 37 seconds remaining in the 2 penalties for the Outlaws as they work here in a tie game. Tompkinson looking for an opening, draws a double team, takes a slap on the helmet, and they turn it over. Shockwave now will lug it over the line and go back to work here. 1 man out of the box, and now just 5-on-4. Wittig to Neufeld. Neufeld comes out. Lane Smith on the crease. Quick stick, and a bullet goes off the post. And I think that may have got Comer on the arm, the inside part of the arm. I'm not sure if it ricocheted off the post and caught him on the way by, but he's going to go over for some attention. So I guess we'll consider that an injury timeout. And it looks like with the 5-on-4 situation, the bench penalty now will go into effect, and the Shockwave will continue on their power play. Smith, the left shooter, kicks it back to Neufeld at the top. Gaps the box, swings it now to Patterson on the right side. Smith looking an opening, Wittig on the crease. Neufeld loads, dumps it, and that shot's blocked. Wittig, though, picks it up, under 10 on the shot clock. Got to get one. Neufeld, sidearm wide. Smith knocks it down, but can't do much else with it. Tompkinson, good speed. Outruns 1, 2 defenders, gets a shot off, goes into the net, and it will come back the other way, St. Catherine's ball. Minute 20 to go in the bench minor. And 13 minutes to go here in the third. 4-4 the score. Neufeld, the left shooter, Wittig slides to the top. Two-man game, Wittig shot again from the outside. And again, the goaltending has been very good from out there as that pass is picked off by Laprade. Laprade now will slide it to Neufeld, retreat to the bench, and in will step Patterson. So interchanging on that left side of the Shockwave with Neufeld now in that shooter spot, turns it over, and off to the races Andreoli. Well rested. Wrong stick side, bounce shot wide of the mark, and that will fall to Neufeld, and he will move it up over the timeline and get it up to Alex Henry. So Lane Smith will take a break here on this power play, and in will step Luke Coppinger. Round the horn, Wittig. Another shot, steered aside. Good shoulder save. And a tough call there on the interference. As, again, 5-hole not there. So positioning very good for both goaltenders, as goals have come at a premium here in this game. DeBrone dumps it off. And St. John working one-on-one. Ball is loose. And ties up the fender. Ball comes back. Bad pass. And the Shockwave now will pick it up and move it up. Jimerson. No numbers, so he will bail and find a trailer and set things up. Smith. Hard shot. Destined for that corner. But Comer right there where he should be. Bergsma eludes a defender and dumps it off. Bertoli kicks it out. Bergsma, one-on-one. Shot clock under 10. Flip and turned over. And it will go back the other way with the Shockwave. Steve Lee. He'll flip, retreat. Neufeld. Waiting for some numbers. Kicks it back to the top. Gets it back on the half boards left side. Wittig comes flying in. Returns the favor. Dumps it one-on-one. Jeff Wittig working a two-man game with Brian Neufeld. And Wittig strikes again, and it's 5-4 Shockwave. Off the draw now. And I may need some verification as to make sure that it is Comer that's in the net for these Outlaws as they get possession. Quick pass picked off, and that'll be a back-in call. Outlaws now go back to work on offense, trailing by a goal. Around the horn it goes. Man-to-man D, and the give and go gone and went to Tompkinson, and that'll be a crease ball. Possession Shockwave. Move it up. Laprade in transition will peel off and give it up to Lane Smith. Smith will dump to Neufeld, and the offense will go to work. Neufeld gets a good screen and uses it Stopped though, but he retrieves the rebound for a fresh 30. Patterson, been awfully quiet in this game, pulls his way in, goes to the backhand. Smith, the diving attempt. Crease called, and it'll be Outlaws ball. Bergsma avoids the boards and attempts to swim, dumps it off, and gets into position. One-on-one, St. John curls around to the crease, backhand pass, ill-advised to Bergsma, but Bergsma recovers. 5 on the shot clock. Good switch hands, back to St. John. Quick shot block, and that'll go all the way down, and it will be St. Catherine's ball. Set to go here after the officials' timeout. 8:42 to go in the third quarter. 5-4 the Shockwave lead as their offense goes to work here. Patterson on the right side, kicks it back way out to Wittig. Wittig one-on-one with some room on the clear ISO, goes to the net, good save, and the Outlaws bring it back the other way. Tompkinson racing over the timeline, 3-on-2, takes it himself. That shot wide and into the stands, and it went off of the Shockwave, so it will stay here. Possession to the Outlaws. They decide that they're going to get a line change in, full line change, and Bergsma's out there with St. John. Around the horn it goes. Goddard dumps it off on a two-man game. Good look away, but can't finish at the other end was McWaters as he goes wide with the quick stick, and the Shockwave now will bring it back into the Oshawa end. Smith, wrong stick side, kicks it back out. Neufeld looking to get on track here and dumps it off the post. So a good pass to Shanahan, couldn't finish, but they get a fresh clock. Neufeld, long cross-court pass, coming in off the curl, the screen, bounce shot wide. Patterson tracks down the rebound with 15 to go on the shot clock. And it looks like there's going to be coincidental. So both teams now with players occupying the sin bin. And it'll be 5 aside for St. John to Goddard. Goddard swings it around. The dump pass, good defense collapsing by the Shockwave, and they forced a turnover and move it back out. Jimerson dumps it off. Good fake, but short side is closed on Corey Becker. And back come the Outlaws. Andrioli had a notion, wrong stick side though. And he'll look to go around the net and create. St. John looking for a screen. Stead lures the defender there, and Andrioli in trouble as that ball remains loose, and the Shockwave come up with it. James Deacon to Wittig, and Wittig now will wait for his troops. Had a notion, pulled it back out. Finds a trailer in Coppinger. He retrieves the rebound and loose ball, and gets it back out. Wittig, Neufeld, one-on-one on the half boards. Tough shot, tough angle. Can't find anything there except the Oshawa bench, and the Outlaws now will bring it the other way. 6:10 to go here in the third. 5-4 in favor of the Shockwave, as this has been a very perimeter-oriented game. St. John, with a defender draped all over him, kicks it back out. Bergsma had the first goal of this game, curls around, underhand, stop. LaPrade will race away with it. They've got numbers with just Bergsma back. 3-on-2, dump down low, good fake, and a goal. Creased the call. So a good opportunity there, but a better save, and it'll come back the other way with St. John. That pass goes awry, and more so McNulty not going to the ball. I think trying to fake out the defender. And now the Shockwave will go to work with 5:15 to go here in the third. Everyone gets a touch. Smith on the curl. Big shot. Steered aside, and a reset will give the Shockwave another clock. Patterson dumps it off. Shanahan out there working with Lane Smith. Lane Smith's quick shot goes wide. But Shanahan retains possession before turning it over. Outlaws bring it back now. Roach will dump and retreat. And back to work will go McWaters and the Oshawa offense. St. John looking at Goddard. Goddard lost it momentarily, got it back. Tried to dunk, almost had it. Creased the call on the play, and we're going to have ourselves an official's timeout. Set to resume here with 4:15 to go in the third quarter. One goal game, and goaltending has been a factor here as a lot of perimeter work. Wittig looking for an opening. Does a swim, takes Tompkinson one-on-one, but another good save from Comer, and it will be Oshawa ball going the other way. Ryan Nolan. Find Bergsma. Bergsma used the bounce pass, but McWaters not able to corral it. He does recover it, though, with 12 on the shot clock. St. John, Goddard, good skip pass, one-on-one down low. Good move down there by McNulty, but not able to find the corner, does get a reset. Fresh clock for the Outlaws. Goddard around the horn. McWaters waiting for a screen by Bergsma. Got one, but couldn't do much with it. Goddard dumps it in the corner. No one there, and the Shockwave will take that gift and bring it back the other way. Steve Lee to Neufeld. Neufeld now will kickstart this offense. Neufeld been awfully quiet in this game, as has Anthony Patterson. Two of the team's big scorers. And back in transition, Andrioli, good speed. Kicks it over, underhand blocked. And that's going to be a check from behind, and so Jimerson will spend 2 minutes for checking from behind. And the Outlaws now will have a chance to utilize this power play to pull even. St. John, McWaters, and that shot goes off the rafters, and the Shockwave now will get it easily over the timeline and work some clock. Wittig, though, with an opening, a slow change for the Outlaws. And that allows Wittig some space, and he'll get it to Neufeld. Wittig and Neufeld, of course, this pair have been a dangerous tandem. Wittig tried that quick shot from a tough angle. Patterson now will sweep it back into the corner as the shot clock winds down. And the Oshawa Outlaws now will bring it back and go to work with the power play. 1:06 to go with the man advantage. Goddard, St. John, McWaters. Bertoli out there. That pass gets away, but not too far. Waters dumps it in, a quick shot. Good finish from Dylan Goddard as he gets on the score sheet for the first time, and we're all tied 5-5. All knotted up here as back in the circle. Outlaws had it momentarily. Ball still loose. Knocked away, picked up by Tompkinson. He'll take it right to the iron. Going the wrong stick side, peels away, and dumps it off to St. John. St. John up near the timeline will get a little room to operate. Tough pass, but he finds the mark, threads the needle. Andrioli curling, underhand wide. And that will go over the timeline, and no whistle, so play it where it lies, breakaway, and that's going to go off the crossbar and in. And Saul Vanderzalm took advantage of that. 51 seconds left here in the third. The roller coaster ride continues as no team is led by more than 2 goals. And that's going to be an interference call, and Oshawa's going to get possession with 39 seconds to go here, and we'll see if Steve Toll gets it over the timeline, wants to call a timeout, does not. We'll play through it as about a 10-second differential between the two clocks. Good pass, couldn't manage the quick stick. No reset as St. John gets it back, tries the hard pass down low to Goddard. Goddard gets it back. Again, no reset, 5 seconds, dumped out front. Wide open, Tompkinson wasn't expecting it. Back come the Shockwave. 5 seconds to go here. And a quick shot stopped at the buzzer. And after 3 complete, it's the Shockwave 6 and the Outlaws 5. All set to go here for the final 15 minutes. And a 1-goal game with the Shockwave leading this one 6-5. And that's going to be an interference call, and St. Catharines will have possession here. So both goaltenders have kept this one close as Smith loads, big save, hockeyed out of the way, and Patterson will scoop up the loose ball for a fresh clock. Back up to the top and dumped over. That shot goes steered aside by Comer, and Lane Smith now will take a hit, shrug it off, dumps a 2-man game, another good save, and that's going to be crease ball. So 5-on-5 here as Goddard will swing it quickly to the left side to McNulty. McNulty has a goal here today. Quiet, good bounce shot, and going to the overhand was Jeremy McWaters, and we're all nodded 6-6. So when in doubt, go to the good old-fashioned overhand to find the mark, and off the draw. A good effort by Gage Board. Always seems to be in the middle of the battle, and holding on to it and getting up was LaPrade. Wrong stick side, and another good bounce shot. Overhand, no less, and it's Corey Becker with his second of the game, and in a blink of an eye, it's 7-6 St. Catharines. So both teams going back to the fundamentals. We've seen a lot of underhand sidearms, some quick sticks, but it's been the overhands that have made the difference here. And a delayed penalty now on the Shockwave, as just a little overly aggressive was Alec Tomas. And St. John plays the carom beautifully and parks the rebound in the back of the net. So I gave St. John credit for that goal, but it was McNulty that played that ricochet and notched his second of the game. Outlaws now will go back to work on offense. Goddard swings it over to Bergsma. Bergsma looking back to Goddard on the give and go. Bergsma again, fakes, rolls, curls, dumps off. St. John loads and saw that 5-hole, just a little bit of daylight, and managed to corral his rebound, dumps it to Goddard. Goddard took a hit, coughed it up. Shockwave now will bring it back. 1-on-1. Vanderzalm and Bergsma. Bergsma Does a good job. Lane Smith trailing. Whittick, though, backs him up, picks it up. 7-7 the score here. Just over 12 minutes as Lane Smith had that clip the top of the glass and touch nothing. It'll be Oshawa ball in the offensive end. St. John. McNulty dumps it off. And a quick pass down, handled neatly by St. John. Looking in the middle. Good pass, but too much traffic. Shockwave now come away with it. They've got numbers. 2-on-1. Trailer come out. Whittick. And creased the call. So Whittick just got the toe on the white line. Good call, and it goes back the other way. Andrioli. Remember, this Oshawa team missing a few of their big guns. No Josh Gilray, no Mike Triolo, and no Luke Laskowitz, of course. An off-season pickup and a tough shot by Corey Becker. Stop, but he managed to get his rebound, and they'll go back to work on offense. The flip to Patterson. Patterson behind the net to Neufeld. Neufeld to Smith. Smith again, switched hands. Good save there by Comer and Smith. Quick pass down low. Neufeld tried to sneak it in, and no goal the call, as that never trickled over the white line, and Oshawa now will bring it back with just over 10:50 to go here. Fourth quarter, 7-7 game. Steve Toll at the helm for the Outlaws. Steve McCarthy ejected in the second quarter. So Stevie Toll will have to do some work in his debut, as that one by Goddard almost snuck through the arm of Martin. And Oshawa with some momentum here. They will regain possession and work the clock. McWaters dumps it off to Goddard. Delayed penalty coming to the Shockwave. And the Outlaws now will go to work with under 10 to go in the extra attacker. St. John, underhand, stopped. So Jordan Hopeby, the guilty party, 2 minutes for slashing here. And the Outlaws will go back to work on the power play with under 10 minutes to go here in the fourth. Around the horn, St. John, the quarterback at the top. He'll slide over to the left shooter, kick it back out to McWaters. Good passing, but better defense there. Under 10 on the shot clock. Kick back out St. John. Hard overhand, stopped, and corralled by the Shockwave. They'll bring it up with numbers, 2-on-1. St. John, the only defender. They get some help now, and Lane Smith comes out the back door, but he's covered. So a good decision there by the Shockwave to pull that one out. Steve Lee will hold on to it and dump it off to Whittick and retreat to the bench. Under 10 to go on the shot clock. Whittick working the angles. He's going to draw a double team and does a good job of getting rid of it, and that looks like it's going to cost Whittick 2 minutes for the extra cross check, and I would have to say probably a very good call. Set to go here as back at it with a two-man advantage, as Jeff Whittick will spend 2 minutes in the box. St. John waltzes in, tries to pick the far corner, but another good save there by Chase Martin. That ball is loose, flipped up. Good job by McWaters, used every inch to regain possession, and Goddard now out there with McWaters and St. John. Bertoli also, and up, down, but nothing doing Martin closed that door, and he sends the outlet up ahead to Mitch DeMont. DeMont, he'll kill some clock as he gets it over and to Tomas. Tomas draws a double team, loses it, and back come the Outlaws. One penalty is over. 54 seconds to go in the second. Tompkinson will pull it out, and Bergsma will slow it down with St. John. Goddard, St. John out there looking to get a lead here as St. John took a couple of hits off the rebound, and that ball gets tossed up and over the timeline. LaPrade, with good speed, is going to race to get it. Doesn't come up with it, and Oshawa will come back with 20 seconds to go in a man advantage. Gauge board, dump it off to Bergsma. He'll retreat. Goddard now with it. St. John dips in. Back to Goddard. McWaters goes back to the overhand. This time it's stopped. And here come the Shockwave in transition. Henry. Doing a good job as he gets it to Wittig. So they kill both penalties. And again, we're tied here with 6:40 to go in the fourth. Patterson almost picked a good time to get on that score sheet as his shot goes wide of the mark. So it looks like a too many men call on the Outlaws, but I don't see anyone in that penalty box, which seems a bit odd. Patterson, curl around, bounce shot, stop. Oshawa comes up with it, head man away, and it's Tompkinson. Couldn't catch it cleanly. Now he's triple teamed, and the call will be possession to the Outlaws. So some good work from Tompkinson as he helps kill some time and keep possession. Still don't see anyone in the box for the Outlaws. So we'll have to assume that the Phantom in home will take that as St. John, double team though, loses it, but not before killing some clock. They get it back again as Bergsma in there working hard. And the Shockwave come away with it. And it's an 8-second call. Possession will go to the Outlaws, and we're going to get some clarification. So finally a man in the box. Oshawa with possession, the double team, and Tompkinson splits him, goes hard to the net. In there wide open, good save. Again, that 5-hole has not been there. Chase Martin has closed the door every time. Dylan LaPrade will bring it back. He will roll it to Becker. Becker to Neufeld, and he'll retreat. Offense back on here. Shockwave with 30 seconds to go in the power play. Wittig, Smith, Neufeld. Good quick stick, but from a tough angle. Hard to beat Comer from there as he'll hit the outlet and gotta hurry. And too much time, too casual was Tompkinson. And it'll be possession St. Catharines. So it looks like another penalty is called on the play. And now it's going to be the Shockwave with a two-man advantage here. Wittig looking for Patterson. Patterson not able to corral it, not sure. He looks injured as he labors to the bench. And the Outlaws, though, will bring it over. Good spin move and by DeBrone, not able to beat Martin, and the Shockwave now will bring it back. One penalty's expired. Minute 30 to go in the other minor. 4:20 left here in the fourth, tied 7-7. Round the horn it goes for the Shockwave. Smith, Wittig, and Neufeld on that left side. Smith's shot steered aside by the glove hand, and Oshawa now will hustle to get it over the timeline. Tompkinson, good fake. And he'll peel out and kill some clock. 3:50 to go here in the fourth. Got to watch as the second defender came right out, and a clear path to the net breakaway. Good stick check, but the rebound followed up nicely. And a good heads-up play there by Johnny Jimerson to notch his first of the season. Comer did a good job of stopping the James Deacon breakaway, but Jimerson followed that up, and the Shockwave now with possession, leading by 1, 3:30 to go here in the fourth. Neufeld in no hurry here as they'll set the offense, takes a screen from Smith. Curling out is Shanahan. He's harassed. That shot, and it's a bullet underhand. Steve Lee, he's on the score sheet. 9-7 Shockwave. Back at her in the circle as the Outlaws win the draw. Trailing by 2 with just over 3 minutes to go. So some work to do. Question will be, this undermanned Oshawa team, can they come back? Turnover there. 2-on-1. Shockwave, bring it back. In transition. Underhand stopped. Not able to corral the rebound. Another good save by Comer, and St. John now will bring it over the timeline. Oshawa has to show a little bit of urgency here. St. John, good roll. Dumps it behind the net. Not able to handle that pass was Vertoli. And Alex Henry will take those long strides up into the offensive end. Neufeld. Back out, and you can bet the Shockwave will be very deliberate here. Dumped off to Wittig inside, and again, back come the Outlaws. Tompkinson. He spent a lot of time, logged a lot of mileage on this carpet. Bounce shot stopped. Again, Chase Martin giving up no 5-hole here in this game. And St. Catharines now will bring it back over. Vanderzalm to Smith. Smith takes a hit from behind, bounces off. It goes to the bounce shot, Lane Smith. The hat trick for the vet. And it's 10-7 St. Catharines. 10-7 the score here, as the largest lead of this game for the Shockwave. Courtesy Elaine Smith, third of the game. And it's 10-7 with just over a minute and a half to go. Smith will load, fakes the flip, flips back and goes to no one. Patterson tried to backhand Smith. Danson flips. And Patterson's going, sorry, not Patterson, my apologies, Coppinger. Shot clock winds down. Oshawa now will have to hustle, trailing by 3. Minute 10 to go. Week 1 has been an exciting one. All the games have been close up to this point. And this one, of course, another good one. Looking for McWaters, can't handle it. LaPrade with great speed, and he's going to finish the job in the empty net. 47 seconds left here, and I think it's just a matter of time here, as it looks like the Shockwave will pick up their first win of the season. The Outlaws will fall to 0-1, but of course early on here and far from a full roster, so expect this Outlaws team to be contending here throughout this season, as St. Catharines will just let the shot clock wind down. Wittig will dump it off, And into the final 10 seconds here as Gage Board will bring it up and dump it off. So just ran out of gas, did the Outlaws, as this one is signed, sealed, and delivered. 11-7 the final in favor of the St. Catharines Shockwave.